into some more esoteric territory. This one could be my favorite I've ever researched and written about. Project Stargate, and following Project Stargate was Project Sunstreak. This is the gateway process, the Monroe Institute, the remote viewing rabbit hole, and the testimonies of remote viewers like Joe McMoneagle, Ingo Swann, Ed Dames, Elizabeth April, Paul Smith, David Morehouse, and Pat Price, who had a super mysterious death. This represents the CIA's venture into the psychic, paranormal, and extrasensory programs. And so for people who have never heard of remote viewing, it does tend to sound batshit crazy at first. But the fact of the matter is that the CIA, as well as our rival superpowers, have been training psychics to leave their bodies and escape the confines of space and time for the purpose of intelligence gathering. The CIA used Robert Monroe's gateway process and hemisync technology to remote view kidnapped children, Russian submarines, rival spies, Antarctic and Alaskan bases, the Titanic shipwreck, the Ark of the Covenant, Mars in 1 million BC, and there are official declassified docs that prove the existence of these remote viewing sessions. More speculatively, based on testimony as opposed to declassified docs, they also remote viewed the Holy Grail, Noah's Ark, the Shroud of Turin, ancient Egypt, Atlantis, UFOs, and extraterrestrial bases on the dark side of the moon. And so the most profound revelations of Stargate and Sunstreak, and even ordinary people's achievements with these techniques, all point to a revolutionary understanding that we are not simply humans experiencing the universe, we are the universe experiencing itself in its human form. And this strangest conspiracy, it turns out, isn't about hidden government programs or psychic spies. It's the conspiracy of silence around our own vast potential and the truth that our consciousness extends far beyond the boundaries of our physical form. Dive into even deeper esoteric territory with the ever-controversial Montauk Project and Philadelphia experiment. So officially decommissioned in 1981, the Montauk Air Force Base in Camp Hero, Long Island, is rumored to have been the site of government experiments with time travel, mind control, dimensional portals, psychic warfare, and alien contact. Its decades-old secrets began to unravel in 1984 when engineer Preston Nichols allegedly uncovered repressed memories of their sordid research. And so the Montauk Project is said to be a continuation of both MK Ultra and Project Stargate, with claims of kidnapped children and alien encounters from Stuart Swerdlow. And this project actually served as the basis for the TV show Stranger Things. Then the Philadelphia experiment, which is probably less likely than the Montauk Project, in my opinion. It's an even more far-fetched tale of an alleged naval test gone wrong, where the USS Eldridge ship vanished, teleported, and came back with crew members fused into the ship's hull, circulated by Carl Allen and Morris Jessup. Next up, let's go. We got Operation HighJump. This is another controversial and ambiguous operation in Antarctica with claims of secret Nazi bases, hollow Earth theory, and UFOs. In August 1946, the United States launched the largest and most heavily armed naval task force ever sent to Antarctica. It was led by the legendary Admiral Richard Byrd. And HighJump officially aimed to conduct scientific research and military training in the frozen continent. Yet what transpired during those first 40 days before the mission's abrupt termination continues to fuel speculation about what really happened at the bottom of the world in August of 1946. So Operation HighJump included 4,700 men, 13 plus ships, 33 aircraft, and was inexplicably cut short without any explanation, begging the question that if this was merely a scientific and training expedition, why was it described as the most heavily armed naval task force ever sent to Antarctica, and why was the 6-month operation cut after just 40 days? And the Nazi connection was not merely speculative. In 1938, Hitler had dispatched the SS Schwabenland expedition to Antarctica, with the Esoteric Thule Society likely participating in that. And these groups believed in the existence of an underground Aryan civilization accessible through the South Pole. And following the mission's abrupt termination, Admiral Byrd made cryptic statements of hostile forces in the Arctic and Antarctic regions and spoke of a new enemy that could attack any country, anytime, anywhere, no matter the distance. And most notably, he allegedly stated that the United States could be attacked by flying objects with the ability to move from pole to pole at incredible speeds. And, after his debriefing in D.C., Byrd never spoke publicly about Operation HighJump ever again, and the mission was immediately classified. testimony of UFOs emerging from the ocean on the USS Brownson, and allegedly the USS Maddox burst into flames after an encounter with a UFO. There's also Admiral Byrd's infamous time gap when he went missing while piloting for 3 hours, and his controversial diary with claims of a lush 74-degree part of Antarctica, woolly mammoths, and a shining city. And there are claims that Byrd was taken to meet beings called the Ariani, who warned that humanity was too immature for atomic energy, which that's a particularly resonant message given that the Roswell incident would occur just months later after HighJump near the site of the world's first nuclear explosion. And so while some of the more sensational claims about hollow Earth civilizations and alien encounters remain unverified, the documented facts alone about Operation HighJump raise some serious questions. There are claims of Soviet intelligence reports from the period that stated they believed HighJump's true purpose was to find and destroy a Nazi base, whether it was advanced Nazi technology, natural phenomena beyond our understanding, or something even more exotic. Operation HighJump definitely uncovered something that the military and government officials deemed too sensitive for public knowledge. And so, in an age where government transparency is increasingly demanded, the continued classification of Operation HighJump documents only adds to the mystery of what really lies beneath the ice at the bottom of the world. And, Operation HighJump is a huge part of why there's no shortage of Antarctica conspiracies. I'll end the deep dive. So another prime example of the deep state's actions against democracy was the FBI's war against civil rights leaders and their role in the assassinations of MLK and Malcolm X. J. Edgar Hoover's bureau used surveillance, smear campaigns, and state power to undermine the civil rights movement and preserve the white supremacist status quo. Some of the evidence is the COINTELPRO counterintelligence war and relentless surveillance programs against these two figures, the FBI's effort to create a rift between the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X, the first-hand testimony about FBI involvement in his murder, and the two men convicted of Malcolm X's murder being exonerated because of evidence that pointed to FBI involvement, the FBI's documented smear campaign and poison pen letter against MLK, which literally told him to kill himself, and a 1999 jury that determined government agencies were involved in a conspiracy against King. We got the FBI MLK records that remain sealed to this day, and the assassination of Black Panther leader Fred Hampton that followed the same playbook. And so all the evidence in this case points to the fact that the intelligence apparatus was at war with the civil rights movement, an obvious fundamental betrayal of American values. And throughout these figures' history-altering political careers, it's clear they were treated by U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies like an enemy of the state. These murders were the culmination of years of government harassment, surveillance, and disruption. Despite the FBI's efforts to silence them, their words and wisdom of these leaders endure. It was Malcolm X that reminded us education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today, and warned that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And it was Dr. King who declared, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," a quote that is even more true when we consider that the very institutions meant to protect justice were actually the ones perpetuating injustice. And so now, having established the basics of the deep state and CIA operations and these insanely unjust and indisputable operations, assassinations, and false flags committed by the American intelligence apparatus, let's move into some more esoteric territory. This one could be my favorite I've ever researched and written about, Project Stargate.